Let us pray. We thank you, O God, for the gifts of these graduates, the class of 2009. Together we gather here knowing that we come from different places, hold different beliefs, and cherish different values. Yet today, in the midst of our diversity, we are united in gratitude. We are grateful for these students, for their enthusiasm, their sense of speculation and wonder, for their honest speech and encouraging words. Through their hard work and shared lives, they have inspired and challenged this campus community, and we have become a richer and more diverse group of people because of them. We are also grateful for the administration, faculty, staff, trustees, and alumni who have devoted themselves to make Hanover College what she is today, a beacon of light set on a point in the pursuit of higher learning. And, O God, we are most thankful for the support and sacrifice of their parents, guardians, family, and friends who helped in many ways to make this day possible. Today, we gather here with joyful, generous, and grateful hearts. Amen. You may be seated.
Thank you to our choir. You do us proud. It gives me great pleasure to welcome all of you to the 176th Commencement for Hanover College. This is the best day of the year for those of us in higher education. A corporation looks at its bottom line at the end of the fiscal year to determine if it has been successful. We look to the students sitting in front of us today. Your success is our bottom line, and we rejoice with you in celebrating your accomplishments. You have worked hard for 4 years, and you have learned a great deal about yourself, about the world, and how you might make a contribution to the future. Now it is time for you to put what you've learned to use. If we reduced the world to just 100 people, there would be 61 from Asia, only 5 from North America, 9 from Latin America and the Caribbean, 13 Africans, and 12 from Europe. 70 would be non-white, and 30 would be white. This certainly brings into sharp focus the need for acceptance and understanding of the many cultures represented in this world. We also need to figure out how we can reach out to others who do not have the advantage of a college degree. 80 of those 100 people would live in substandard housing. 18 would be unable to read or write. 53 would live on less than $2 US per day. And 50 would live in poverty. Many would be drinking unsafe water. Some would be suffering from diseases that we have not yet overcome. And 1 out of that 100, yes, just 1, would have a college education. The world is depending on that 1% to use what you have learned to improve the world. You are a special class to me. You are only the second group of alumni that I will welcome back to Hanover. At homecoming, at the fall gala, which has now become a Hanover tradition, at Halloween, which you will not receive an invitation. You know just when to show up in costume. These new traditions will now be added to others, like eating hamburgers and trying all 41 flavors of milkshakes at Hinkle's, walking around the point, going to the acre to write your reflections, midnight breakfast that actually occurred at 10 p.m., spring term off-campus trips. Some of you have just returned from extraordinary experiences, drives down Scenic Drive and through Clifton Hall, hiking through Happy Valley, the spring wiffle ball tournament, the run for Greek pledging, and the dinners with faculty members. But most of all, you will remember the friendships you have made here and the lifelong mentoring relationships you will have with faculty and staff. That is what will call you back to this bluff overlooking the Ohio River Valley. And we will be waiting here for you because, after all, you will always be a part of the Hanover family. That Hanover family is made up of professors and staff who have worked with you over the past 4 years to see you succeed. And I'd like for the Hanover College faculty and staff to stand and be recognized by our graduates. Would all the Hanover faculty and staff please stand wherever you are in the audience? Thank you. The support you get from the Hanover family is only exceeded by your personal family members. I would like to ask all the family members of our graduates to stand and be recognized by our graduates. In particular, there are family members in this audience who have traveled a great distance to be with us today. Please have all the family members please stand and be recognized by the graduates. And I would like to give special recognition to those who have traveled around the world. We have family members from Ghana and Turkey, and others from Vietnam, Nepal, Pakistan, and India that could not be with us, but may be watching the live stream on our website. Would all of our international students and family members please stand? You have added so much to our culture here at Hanover. We also have parents here from Hawaii, and thanks to Continental Airline, they were able to bring a 100-pound cooler of food for a luau the other night. Would our Hawaiian families and graduates please stand? Thank you for making the effort to be here. Hawaii contingent. Welcome to all of you from around the country who have gathered together to see these young people achieve their dream of a Hanover education. It has been my true pleasure to be a part of your experience at Hanover. I have watched you perform on the court, the field, and on the stage. I have eaten with you in Greek houses and in the dining room, and Mike and I have thoroughly enjoyed being with you in every sense in this endeavor. Because you have shared a part of your experience with me, it will forever be a part of my life. Thank you for sharing those experiences with me. And now I would like to introduce your senior speaker. Each year, the senior speaker is selected by the senior committee after a rigorous application and audition process. The senior committee has made an outstanding choice in this selection this year of James Grogan. James is a chemistry major from Franklin, Indiana. While at Hanover, he has served as a residence hall advisor, admission ambassador, and a French gardener.
What?
Grader. He's a gardener, too. He has served on numerous committees and held offices in Student Senate, the American Chemical Society, Senior Committee, Community Board of Standards, and the Student Spirit and Culture Advisory Board. During his summer months, James volunteered at a health clinic and tutored adult nursing students in math. After graduation, James plans to further his education at IUPUI. Several of James's family members, including parents, aunts, and uncles, and friends, are with us today. Please welcome to the microphone your senior speaker, James Grogan.
To the family and friends gathered together, to the faculty, administration, and staff, and most important of all, to the class of 2009. For the past 4 years, you have been the body of Hanover College. Its eyes and its ears, its hands and feet, the very presence of our proud school. Each of us has played an integral role in the formation of our class's identity and spirit. And though separately we may be disparate individuals just trying to survive, together we've become something more, a living, breathing, whole entity. And like a living creature, the class of 2009 has grown, developed, and matured during its time here. Strong, serene, in faith and honor, our college has presented unto us a strong education, one that will unquestionably remain with us for the rest of our lives. Though this education, as you all well know, was not easy to come by. But because you are here today, you've met all of the requirements laid out for you by Hanover, academically, personally, and otherwise. Though, thinking back to those in our cohort that didn't make it, what led us to survive, succeed, and thrive? After all, our class has seen a lot, and like a body has withstood many afflictions. In fact, is it too much to say that at times Hanover's taught us the true meaning of a love-hate relationship? Especially true for many of us that had a somewhat rocky start, myself very much included. Yet, all of us here kept the faith and managed to overcome such obstacles as human nature. Yeah, I know. Comps. Crazy roommates. Late night paper writing. And then early morning paper writing. A hurricane. A hurricane in Indiana. And even getting a t-shirt that describes all of the aforementioned crises. So, how did we hold the body together? Through camaraderie, mentorship, and hard work. Even the smartest among us had to buckle down at some point. I'm looking at you all. But like with the body, whatever did not kill us only made us the stronger for it. I mean, in a very Hanoverian way, however, students come together with a high level of personal connection and integrity rare in college life today. We work together, study together, and collaborate wholeheartedly despite strong competition and grading curves. We do this because we know that in the end, we're all in this together, a body in motion moving forward. Here are students that become lifelong friends after years of movies at the shoebox, playing video games, midnight runs to Hinkle's, and, as shocking as it might be, occasionally breaking campus policy. Yeah. Look around, and you will be hard-pressed not to find friends that have become more than friends, but family. We have brothers, sisters, bigs and littles, mentors and mentees, life partners, and a system of lifelong support. And then there are the professors. The physicians, that tune us up and keep us going. Sometimes the treatment was painful, but sometimes it was sweet, sweet balm. Yeah, the professors laugh at that one. Here are professors who are notoriously difficult in their fields, but only for the high hopes and standards they hold for us. Professors who invite us into their homes, their lives, so that they can share their learning and experience with us. Professors who come to us with sincere regrets after hearing of great personal loss. And most important and almost commonplace at Hanover, the professors who see us stumble. Sometimes very badly. But they still come to us and ask if we signed up for the next class without a second thought. That no matter what we do, they'll always help us get up, dust ourselves off, and try again. Here we get second chances, a luxury very rarely afforded to us after today. This, of course, brings me to the main point, the crux of this address. For after today, we will no longer be students of Hanover College. Gesundheit. Instead, we will forever be proud alumni until the end of our days. Now, I know for a fact that there are those of us that will go into professional schools to become doctors and lawyers and business executives. We will be teachers. We will be the scientists curing diseases and combating pollution and erosion. We will be the writers producing the great works for the next generation. And the teachers enforcing these great works upon them. Now, no one can be sure of the future, but I can tell you that yours will be an adventure. Varied, but bright. I know this because, for the most part, I know you. A perk of our Hanover bubble. I've sat next to you in class, at lunch. I've passed you in the Horner Center. Went to performances and speakers in Parker with you. Struggled through Eurasia. Got a B and was thrilled. Wore T-shirts degrading Franklin College together. Played wiffle ball with you. And actually hit a home run! But on the other side, I've heard stories told about you. Good and bad. I shared failures and successes with you. Grew with you. And stand before you today. You give the life to Hanover College. And as I said earlier, we were in this all together, and yet will always be. And that is how we survived. For the past 4 years, this class has been building upon past generations and preparing the way for future Hanoverians. We have been the body of Hanover, growing and changing, maturing, in preparation for the world after today. We have survived and thrived through all the highs and lows until our meeting here today, and as we pass along the scenic drive for the last time as college students. And that is something to be proud of. And so I say now with great pride, Hanover, hail to thee.
Jim, thank you for your remarks. Very well done. Today at the 176th commencement, I bring greetings from the Hanover Board of Trustees. One of my colleagues, Dr. Bill Enright, is with us today from Indianapolis. Bill. Class of 2009, your trustees are proud of your many accomplishments. It's my privilege today to introduce our next speaker at this commencement, Mr. James T. Morris. Jim is currently the president of Pacers Sports and Entertainment in Indianapolis, Indiana. Prior to this, he served as the Executive Director of the United Nations World Food Program. This is not the first time that Jim has been on the campus. Some of the faculty, and actually some of the students, if you attended, will recall Jim speaking at Hanover's Fall Convocation in 2005. We are pleased that he recently accepted the invitation to join our Rivers Institute Advisory Board. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Jim Morris.
The best advice for anybody who is invited to give your commencement address is to speak before James Grogan, not after him. Please now, give me a chance. My pleasure to be with you. Great enjoyment I had to speak with you 4 years ago when this odyssey began for you, and now to conclude it together is a special treat for me. Congratulations to each of you. Your graduation from this special, beautiful, highly regarded college. Hanover is regarded as one of the top liberal arts colleges in the United States. This extraordinary location, so friendly, so warm, and focused on preparing its graduates for leadership, citizenship, contribution to humanity, and good, productive, fulfilling lives. May I say that, incidentally, your best days as a part of the Hanover community may still lie ahead. The opportunities to discover and support ways that you can make this place even better, more interesting, more effective, and things you can do to give back, to strengthen the experience of those who will follow you, just as so many have given so much to make today possible for each of you. I promise that you will benefit so much every day from being a loyal, engaged alum of Hanover College. The world you are a part of is complex, too oftentimes confused, has far too much inequity, is competitive, struggles with the ideas of hope, respect, tolerance, reconciliation, searches for leadership, peace, fairness, prosperity, justice, diversity, and a sense of community. One of my favorite lines from the scripture from 1 John chapter 4 raises the question, how can you say you love a God whom you've never seen if you don't love your brother and sister whom you see every day? Please be a community builder, a reconciler, a person of peace, a person of unity. Every day, wherever you find yourselves, you will have the opportunity to bring people together, to uplift someone, to be thoughtful, to share, to be generous, to care, to give hope. Leadership is about seeing the largest opportunity in each and every situation. 5 years I had the privilege of leading the United Nations World Food Program, the largest humanitarian agency in the world. Enormous responsibilities to alleviate hunger and to provide logistical support for the international humanitarian community. It was the largest single program of the United Nations, an effort that in 2005 provided food for 115 million people in 83 countries, including the entire population of Iraq, a third of the population of North Korea, huge numbers in southern Africa, as a result of that overwhelming humanitarian crisis. I became aware of a part of the world that I only marginally understood. President DeWine made these same points. A huge percentage of the world's population lives on less than $2 a day. Think of this. 1/6 of the world's population is hungry and malnourished. Half are children. 25,000 people die each day, 18,000 of them children, 1 every 5 seconds, all day long, because of hunger and malnutrition. Food security is the key to child survival, cognitive and physical development, strong immune systems, and reducing stunting and wasting of children. It is sad, unacceptable, reprehensible that so many of our fellow human beings are so vulnerable and terribly at risk. Frequently, I would return to my office in Rome and think about the theological implications of a hungry child, or why so many of God's children were so terribly at risk. There is a religious universality to at least two basic principles. All the world considers the life of the child to be a sacred gift from God. The value of that child's life is just as precious here in southern Indiana as it is in Turkey, Nepal, India, or Colombia. I believe there is the same fervent, passionate, religious, universal commitment from all people that we do not want anyone, especially women and children, to starve or to be hungry. And the sadness is that of all the world's difficult humanitarian dilemmas, they always fall disproportionately on the backs of women and children. The Christian principles say, I was hungry and you fed me. If you do it unto the least of these, you do it unto me. Buddhists are called to compassion for the suffering, and Hindus are expected to share with the hungry. The Jewish scripture says, if you give yourself to the hungry, your light will rise in the darkness. God created a world rich in abundance, meant for all people. Providing charity for poor and hungry people weighs as heavily as all of the other commandments of the Torah combined. The Prophet Muhammad said, you cannot go to bed on a full stomach when your brother and neighbor is trying to go to sleep on an empty stomach across the way. Those that are blessed with an abundance are responsible to see that those less fortunate are given a boost. It is so basic. The more able helping the less able, with all being uplifted in the process. A few years ago, the United Nations, with every single country voting aye, said by the year 2015 we must cut hunger and poverty in half. We must be certain that every child has an opportunity for an elementary education, that we must have a substantial focus on maternal health, infant mortality, HIV, AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria, and have a strong world commitment to gender equity. Making progress on every single Millennium Development Goal involves addressing hunger and malnutrition. The hungry child has no chance to be successful in school. The hungry adult has no opportunity to be creative and productive and care for his family. These issues must be addressed both in providing food to alleviate immediate hunger and starvation, but also requires a thoughtful, sustained investment in the development of basic agricultural infrastructure and productivity in most countries in the developing world. President Dwight Eisenhower initiated the Food for Peace program in the early 50s when he said the world will be changed by wheat, not weapons. And over the 50 years plus of Food for Peace, our country has provided food for billions of people in more than 135 countries, and in the process has put the proper face on American generosity and helped to define to the rest of the world the true picture of America's humanitarian heart. Many of those countries that we helped along the way have become our best friends, our trading partners and allies. This work has been accomplished with steadfast bipartisan support. George McGovern and Bob Dole, people that you would perceive to be very different and often adversaries, but worked together brilliantly to extend the model of American school lunches to places all over the world. Senator Casey of Pennsylvania and Indiana's Dick Lugar work together now with important legislation to affirm the importance of agricultural and food security as an ongoing keystone of American foreign policy, suggesting ways that partnerships between American colleges and universities can be strengthened, the importance of strong agricultural extension systems, and the value of addressing hunger issues in ways that strengthen agricultural economies in the developing world. Strong agrarian economies have been at the base of economic development in nearly every country in the developed world. I'm impressed with Hanover students' commitment to hunger, with your steadfast support for the Salvation Army, for other local food pantries, the work of Open Hands and Open Hearts. You've been brilliant. During the course of any 1 year, 1 in 10 Americans is food insecure. I believe strongly in advancing the world's humanitarian agenda because it is right, because it is in our self-interest, will affect peace and security, and enhance a strengthened world economy, with more individuals participating in a greater sense of fairness and equity. I understand the effectiveness of public diplomacy. Individuals and private groups doing good things for others all around the world simply because it is right and because they care. Our moral imperative says that we must be there for each other and not allow others to suffer when we can be helpful. When average Americans, through their generosity of their talent, their skills, their resources, do things to be helpful around the world, the best possible face is put on our country and strengthens what I believe to be the earned and deserved reputation of who we are. I'm overwhelmed by what Rotary International has done over the last 25 years. Think of this. Rotary has made it possible for more than 2 billion people to be immunized against polio. There's only a little polio left in the world in Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Nigeria. But Rotarians found a way to be public diplomats to address this horrible health dilemma by bringing the focus, the talent, the resources, the partnership mentality, the sustained commitment, and the results are extraordinary. I'm impressed with my young friend from Second Presbyterian Church in Indianapolis, George Soror, a recent graduate of William & Mary. He found ways to excite students on campuses all across the country to raise money to build schools for students in Uganda. To raise $35,000 makes it possible to build a brand new school to serve 380 students. Dr. Joe Mamlin, this Albert Schweitzer-like man from the IU School of Medicine, found a way to partner with the Moi Medical School in Eldoret, Kenya, to put in place the single most impressive effort in all of sub-Saharan Africa to address the HIV/AIDS pandemic. Today they treat 75,000 HIV positive folks and provide health care for 1.5 million individuals, with Kenyans providing the leadership. Working together in genuine partnership, not caring who gets the credit, staying focused on those who have a need, builds relationships that can do so much over time. May I encourage you, please work hard at building relationships. There is no greater feeling than being a part of an unselfish effort with friends and colleagues who share your own idealism about the common good. Rewards from being a part of such efforts are enormous. Individuals can do extraordinary things. I've seen individuals or families with focus and passionate optimism and a caring, serving mentality change their communities and their countries in substantial ways. Henry Leck, a brilliant young choir master at Butler University, said, "I think young children should have a chance to sing." Because of Henry's efforts and focus and leadership, the Indianapolis Children's Choir he created several years ago today has 1,500 children singing, traveling all about the world, and putting the face of a public diplomat on young people from the state of Indiana. I'm impressed with the Kennedy's family's steadfast commitment to physically and mentally challenged children through their support of the Special Olympics. Remarkable priests and nuns who have started a small university and nurtured it through the accreditation process. Or people of faith working all around the world to serve in leadership positions to help indigenous folks do remarkable things related to community development. the extraordinary commitment of my friend Dick Lugar. You know, I might go to play golf on Saturday, but Dick Lugar got on a plane today to go to the former Soviet Union, maybe the 25th trip he's made there, to be heavily focused on the issue of ridding the world of serious chemical weapons and getting rid of the nuclear stockpile in the former Soviet Union. These are folks that were thoughtful about their leadership opportunities, who said, I want to make the most of the opportunity before me, and have gone to work and done great things. Even being president of a professional basketball franchise, and often people have said maybe being the president of a professional basketball franchise is more difficult than solving world hunger. But even being president of a professional basketball franchise offers opportunities to build community, to inspire and encourage young people, to strengthen numerous civic and charitable groups, assist with economic development, make a community competitive for new jobs, bright young talent, investment capital, and provide enjoyment for millions of people. Elie Wiesel, when he received the Nobel Peace Prize for his leadership on the issue of doing everything humanly possible to see that nothing like the Nazi Holocaust would ever happen again, said that indifference is the most insidious danger of humanity. St. Francis said, preach the gospel every day and use words if necessary. Martin Luther King Jr. said, the most profound question is, what have you done for others today? President George Bush said that the measure of a free society is how we treat the weakest and most vulnerable among us. Mother Teresa said, if we don't have peace, it is because we forgot we belong to each other. My hope for you is that you will not be indifferent to the challenges of the day, that you will strengthen our free society by being focused on how we treat the weakest and most vulnerable, that you will use both words and deeds in advancing the teachings of your faith, and that you will find a way to do good, useful, helpful things for others every day, and you will be a peace builder by remembering that we do belong to each other. You will never feel so good about yourself as when you're doing something for someone else. Work hard at building a sense of community. Watch what is going on all around you. You will learn by those in your presence every day. My prayer for you is a life of genuine fulfillment, satisfaction, contribution, and rewards. May you find passion in your work. Please be positive, upbeat, and optimistic. Be inclusive, search for the best in others, nurture relationships, and know that wherever you find yourself, you will be able to do things that are really, really important. Good luck to each of you as you find your way, as Winston Churchill said, to be in the arena. I thank God for faith, for family, for friends, for community, and for vocation. Bless you.
Words to take to heart. If you remember nothing, I hope you remember some of the words of Jim Morris. Thank you so much for being with us. Dr. Graham, will you now present the candidate for the honorary degree?
President DeWine, Mr. James T. Morris is a candidate for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. Mr. Morris will be presented by Dr. David Castle, Professor of Theological Studies.
President DeWine, it's my honor to present Mr. James T. Morris for the conferral of the degree Doctor of Humane Letters. Jim Morris is an outstanding and selfless public servant, a champion for the millions of starving and malnourished individuals throughout the world, and a man of deep personal passion with a romantic heart. Jim Morris is a public servant whose list of accomplishments is simply astounding. Shortly after graduating from Indiana University in 1965, Mr. Morris was appointed as Indianapolis Mayor Richard Lugar's Chief of Staff and Administrative Assistant. I might add at this point that Senator Lugar himself sent me an email yesterday with these words praising Mr. Morris. Jim Morris is a well-known humanitarian and an economic visionary with entrepreneurial skill. when United Nations Secretary General Kofi Annan announced his appointment as Executive Director of the World Food Program, humanitarian leaders all over the world applauded, and rightly so. Through his political skills, business acumen, compassion for people, and extraordinary personal energy, Jim gained access to North Korea, Zimbabwe, Afghanistan, and many other countries where millions of people lack sufficient food. In some of these critical nations, he was the most visible and effective representative of the international community. After his work assisting Mayor Lugar, Mr. Morris moved on to serve in various capacities with the Lilly Endowment, including a 5-year stint as the endowment's president. From 2002 to 2007, he was president of the World Food Program, and in that capacity, he held the rank of Undersecretary in the United Nations. He presently sits on the board of more than 20 local and national charitable organizations. And I suppose, too, that a number of people in Indianapolis would count his guidance of the Indiana Pacers Sports and Entertainment Corporation as its president important public service as well. Although Mr. Morris has a variety of interests, he's an avid golfer, he collects Southwestern art, and he is, of course, a devoted basketball fan. His most serious interest, as you've just heard, is in raising awareness of the plight of millions of people in this world who are dying of malnutrition and hunger. In an article in the Washington Post published in May of 2006, Mr. Morris powerfully expressed his passion for the hungry of the world with these words. Seared into my memory is the feeling of cradling in my arms an acutely malnourished girl in a remote Kenyan village. Although she was a year old, she weighed little more than your average American newborn. I felt engulfed by two emotions, grief for her plight and that of so many others, but also shame that we can allow this to happen in the 21st century. As was mentioned earlier, each day 18,000 people throughout the world die of hunger, and Mr. Morris has made it his goal to encourage more affluent people throughout the world to help conquer this problem of world hunger by becoming actively engaged in this fight. In an address to a college audience in 2005, Mr. Morris pointed out that it takes only 19 cents, yes, 19 cents, to give a child in a poor country a healthy meal at school. Even Hanover students who are graduating today can change the world, in his words, one life, one meal, one day at a time. Mr. Morris is not only the consummate public servant and a champion of the hungry people throughout the world, he is a compassionate and romantic individual. Mr. Robert Opp, who worked side by side with him at the World Food Program, wrote to me saying, Jim is a wonderful person who is overwhelmingly genuine and compassionate. Miss Brenda Lawson, his assistant at the Pacers headquarters, told me that she has never met a kinder person in her life. His romantic side, however, is probably most evident to his wife, Jackie. Jim is fond of saying that he fell in love with Jackie to the music of Johnny Mathis. At the time of their most recent anniversary, Jackie was visiting grandchildren in New York City while Jim was on a business trip. As I understand it, as the day wore on, she was somewhat disgruntled that she had not received a call from Jim. But she was swept off her feet when he arrived unexpectedly in New York and took her out to a romantic dinner in Red Bank, New Jersey. After dinner, Jim suggested that the two of them take a walk. And surprise of surprises, just down the street, they came upon a theater where Johnny Mathis was giving a concert. Jim had reserved prime seats, and Jim and Jackie celebrated their anniversary by renewing their love to the music of Johnny Mathis. President DeWine, in recognition of his contributions to education, society, and to humanity, and I might add, in recognition of his wonderful romantic personality, I present James T. Morris for the degree Doctor of Humane Letters.
I can't think of a better person, given the interest of our students in making this a better world, to carry the name of Hanover College forward as one of our honorary graduates. So it gives me great pleasure to present this. James Morris, upon the recommendation of the faculty and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Hanover College, I now confer upon you the degree Doctor of Humane Letters with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining. As symbols of your honor and achievement, I now present this diploma and hood. Congratulations, Dr. Morris. Thank you, Thank you so much. You will forever stand as a symbol to all of us. Dr. Graham, will you now present the class of 2009 for the conferral of degrees?
President DeWine, I am pleased to present to you the class of 2009 for the conferral of degrees.
Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Arts, upon the recommendation of the faculty and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Hanover College, I now confer upon you the degree Bachelor of Arts with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining. As a symbol of your honor and achievement, I will now present your diploma.
Will the candidates please come forward to receive their diplomas? I ask that we hold our applause until all diplomas have been awarded. Jason M. Abel. Allison Marie Adair. William L. Adams. Brooks A. Allfinger. Leslie Ann Albert. Luke Seward Anderson. Ashley Louise Vane. Madison Elise Bash. Sarah Ann Beckham. Lindsay Claire Bading. Danessa Dee Benke. Bridget Rosella Benton. Savannah Lauren Bielko. Seth Bonham Blakesley. Molly May Block. Molly Nicole Van Etten Bolin. Brian Scott Bowling. Kristen Lee Brooks. David Patrick Brownell. Sarah Elizabeth Bryant. Chelsea Kaimana Kia Kabatu. Sarah Donovan Carmen. Amber Maureen Carroll. Jordan David Carroll. Jennifer Lynn Caudell. Gaurav Chakravarti. Cody J. Klaus. T. Cole Klaus. Dane Charles B.G. Coates. Jennifer Marlene Cohen. Erin Marie Collier. Jonathan R. Collier. Jacob Lee Cooper. Ida Choshkun Panar. Brandon Tyler Cox. Bethany Lauren Chrismore. Kristen Alexandra Croxton. Omar Rashid Kajo. Jason Levi Darling. Ashley Elizabeth Devers. Julianne Michelle Dietz. Aaron Lee Duggan. Amy Catherine Dunham. Kelly Marie Eckstein. Michelle N. Elder. Meredith Kristen Elliott. Danielle Marie Eskins. Ryan Scott Evans. Brandon Charles Feller. Michelle Jane Ferguson. Audrey Lauren Foster. Kathleen Elizabeth Franks. Michael Fuller. Allie Christine Gantz. Dustin Matthew Gardner. Daniel Kyle Gartenman. Mohammed Usman Gori. Isaac Land. Brock Carlton Goggins. Jessica Irwin Galler. Daniel Graber. Bryn Claire Granger. James Dayton Grogan. Joel A. Hoff. Lee Harp. Jacqueline Rendell Hedrick. Shane Thomas Henshaw. Michael Childs Hoffman. Tara Joelle Holstein. Anthony Thomas Hornbach. David Aaron Hall. Aaron K. Huntington. Sean Aladdin Palma Jostelano. Justin Mark Keaton. Sarah M. Kakeski. Paul D. Gillian. Cal Jerome Kolstedt. Christopher Lawrence Koopman. Ellen Barnes Kroger. Genevieve Elizabeth Laka. Trevor Hamilton Lair. Kyle Robert Laker. Catherine Elizabeth Larson. Emily Ann Leatherberry. Margaret Ann Llewellyn. Zach Lopez. Stella Aloria Maynard. Justin Ryan Moltzberger. William Kyle Mandler. Margaret H. McAdams. Autumn Sherry McClatchy. Alexander G. McGowan. Derek T. McMullen. Benjamin Douglas Miller. Travis Tyler Mizamore graduates in absentia. Shannon Elaine Mitchell. Brett Aaron Mize. Lauren Ayers Motionross. Kayla Mosier. Alicia Ann Needler. Natasha Nede. Haley Elizabeth Norton. Benjamin M. Osterling. Megan Ann Orrell. Haley L. Osborne. Carrie A. Page. Sarah Pasquale. Christopher Ryan Perry. Rajapart Pojanasabaran. Aztec Pokerel. Trina Renee Prawl. Daraj K. Prezai. Rowdy J. Raymer. Jason A. Reed. Emily Aaron Rogers. Stephanie Lynn Scherer. Karen Cameron Schubert. Christine Marie Schuster. Elizabeth F. Scott. Christopher Wiley Shea. Allison Grace Shearman. Joshua Aaron Shirley. Jessica Michelle Shortmiller. Whitney Lee Schaus. Robert F. Smart III. Justin Lee Smith. Benjamin MacArthur Spain. Daniel Steele. Michael Sterling. Margaret Catherine Stovall. Catherine Marie Siddharth. Shanna Marie Sutherland. Kirk Christopher David Terrell. Tyler Thames. Stephanie Ray Tribbett. Chelsea L. Tucker. Courtney Nicole Tyler. Chelsea J. Chie Ochihara. Nicole Anna Vesper. Geneva Rebecca Domovic-Wagee. Sarah Elizabeth Warnke. Christina L. Wessler graduates in absentia. Andrew Joseph Westendorf. Samuel Westmoreland. Jonathan James Wheat. Isaiah David Wilkin. Ashley Lauren Wilson. Rebecca Lee Wilson. Oklete Wilsonte. Katie Ann Wood. Channy Elizabeth Woodward. Hannah Watress Young. Cal W. Young. President DeWine, the following members of the class of 2009 have earned their degrees cum laude. Adam Joseph Barcha graduates in absentia. John D. Badan. Kevin Michael Barry. Jeremy Langdon Brownlee. Benjamin William Campbell. Brian Matthew Carlson. Aicha Choshkun Panar. Jeffrey Frederick Darmstetter. Caitlin Eds graduates in absentia. Meredith K. Elston. Catherine E. Fleschner. Christina Frankie. Ellen Glassberg. Ann C. Huey. Emily Catherine Kelly. Christina Kathleen Magdalene Kosobad. Jillian Elizabeth Cozile. Jonathan Wallace Macy. Johan Maharjan. Jason Markins. Callie E. Moore. Cassie Jo Morris. Catherine A. O'Connell. Daniel S. O'Leary. Travis M. Perry. Prayat Pudel. Erin Elizabeth Racky. Farah Deniz Sagan. Andrea M. Stephen. Sorry. Julia Day Taylor. Amber Nicole von Osdahl. Rachel Marie Walters. Elizabeth Sue Werr. Derek Ray Wart. James William Yates.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
President DeWine, the following members of the class of 2009 have earned their degrees magna cum laude. Emily Carla Brandau. Matthew A. Cody Davis. Sarah Elizabeth Davis. Alexander Rhodes Dayton. Janae Majors. Elizabeth Jessica Oddie. Von Hai Pham. Victoria Lindsay Shaw. President DeWine, the following members of the class of 2009 have earned their degrees summa cum laude. John Alexander Buschermole. Emily Grace Copeland. Abigail Ruth Fulton. Kevin Alexander Graham. Courtney Jean Hess. Jacqueline Susan Mills. Cassie Marie Pruitt. Wahida Tanya Rahman. President DeWine, it is extremely rare for a student to graduate summa cum laude with a perfect 4.0 grade point average. Accomplishing the feat for the first time this century, Sarah Marie Shoemaker. Would you please join me in recognizing the Hanover College class of 2009?
Good thing none of you gave Sarah an A-. That would have just messed it up. This concludes our 209th commencement ceremony. Safe travels today and for the rest of your lives.
Please rise now for the singing of our alma mater.
And now, may your joys be as bright as the morning, and your sorrows merely be shadows that fade in the sunlight of love. May you have enough happiness to keep you sweet, enough trials to keep you strong, enough sorrows to keep you human, enough hope to keep you happy, enough failures to keep you humble, enough success to keep you eager, enough friends to give you comfort, enough faith and courage in yourself to banish sadness, enough wealth to meet your needs, and one thing more, enough determination to make each day a more wonderful day than the day before. Go in peace.
Until we meet again.